Hey guys, what's going on? Hope everybody's doing well. Just want to blast out a quick one before the new week. Just something that I noticed while I was just kind of fucking around. Um, so, there's a few levels that I'm watching. I'll start by saying that I think a move up, a definitive move up, is probably due before us making new lows, and I'll tell you exactly what I'm looking for, where I'm looking for. So this fib that I just drew is from the tariff bottom to our current all-time high at 126K, and then we also had this bottom, basically the bottom of this range here, and then the top of this range here before we broke down into the tariff situation way back in April. Uh, we have, as you can see, the point 0.5 of both these levels is right around 100K. So we're going to mark that out, just have that in our minds. As you can tell, 100K is also confluent with the bottom of this range. It got retested a couple times, and every single time we push higher until we got these three drives, and then we tried to, get way back deeper into the range, maybe up to like the midpoint would have been a nicer entry before a pullback, right? But then we just ended up breaking down. I think here during this inside this weekly order block right around 80K, where we came all the way down to. I think this is a reasonable, first of all, a good point in the chart that makes sense for some sort of reversal. And also the price action that we've seen following the dump from all-time high is for the first time ever starting to look, somewhat bullish. We haven't really put in higher lows since we broke below this range, right? I'm seeing this entire thing. I'm looking at this one big range, right? So ever since we broke down right here below 100K, we haven't been putting in any bullish market structure up until very recently. So it's very clear. You see, you have this low and now this low, and potentially this low is being formed right now. Um, in short, I'm not going to try to complicate it too much. I think any sort of pullback, as long as, um, first of all, as long as this low holds around 80,000, and especially if this low holds, um, if we break down below 84K, then I think the probability of this long idea playing out is, gets reduced a little bit. But then if we hold above it, is just at the cost of like a worse entry or not as juicy of an entry, but still a higher probability chance of it working out. So I think that if you get any sort of pullback, maybe into like 87,000 or something like that, you have a long into, first of all, into this level at 100K. You put your stops below here. That's a 2R for you if we get this pullback, right? I'm not sure that we will. I'll give you some context as to where I think the pullback might come and why it would come that way in a sec. But more likely than not, probably a proper retest of like 106K. I think it's a significant level in the chart. It always has been. It held as support here before shooting up. It held as resistance up here. It was resistance up here. 106,000, 107,000 is a very real level in this chart. So, um, there's a lot of doom and gloom, as there should be, right? Like people are starting to finally wake up to the fact that, bullish market structure is long gone, and on the high time frame, things still don't look very good at the very least, right? But if you zoom into like, I want to say it's still high time frame, just lower time frame than like the weekly, the 12 hour, the daily. It's finally starting to shape up in a meaningful way. So um, I think any pullback would be a good opportunity for you to get long. And where we might pull back to is probably around this area right here, right? This is where the origin of the move came. We just kind of shot up and then distributed, shot back down. Everybody thought it was over just for it to be a higher low, right? Now we had a higher high that came after the previous high here, where everybody thought that we're so back, we're going to 100K before the air got sucked out of their balloon. And so I think this is a good area for you to set some alerts. Basically, just down this area between 87,000, 85,000 ish. It doesn't have to be perfect. This just really could have been the retest, right? It would be very clean in hindsight, where we got another retest of this weekly order block once again, and that will be the definitive bottom before we actually send. Um, I would prefer another pullback just because here I don't really see the risk reward being something that makes sense. I guess you could put your stop below here for a trade. It's still only 1.5 R. If you put your stop all the way down here, you don't even have 1 R. So I would be looking for a pullback. That's what I think about Bitcoin. Don't want to overcomplicate it. I still think there is a potential for some sort of rally. If you look at the S&P 500, it looks a lot like this, where crypto looks a lot like this. So there is definitely a catch-up play to be had here. But it really depends. If stocks pull back, then this obviously will not work out. But something to look out for is maybe Monday, Tuesday, we see stocks pull back a little bit. That could coincide with a small pullback on Bitcoin. And hopefully, again, this low should hold. I'd like to see that. Um, but any sort of a pullback, I would definitely be looking to get involved into a move up to 100K, 106K, where you eventually will see everybody saying, "Oh, I told you so. We're so back." Blah blah blah. But that's a discussion for a few weeks from now probably. So that's what I'm looking for. If it makes sense to you as well, you can hop on board with me. If it doesn't make sense to you, I'd like to hear from you. I always want to hear your thoughts also. So in the Telegram, if you see somewhere else, if you see something that might invalidate this idea, or you have a better idea, or whatever, even an idea that doesn't have anything specifically to do with this, um, call it out. Let me know what you guys think. So that's what I think. Hope everybody's enjoying the weekend, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.